Hey man, I'm Antoine. This is my main man Garrett. Y'all already know what show it is, the Uncommon Commentators. I'm not gonna lie, Garrett. You got Wiley on the ones and twos. I'm not gonna lie, man. Fuck the formalities. You feel me? We all know why we're here. Yeah, man. So it's been a long time coming. For those of you who have been watching, me and Garrett are from the city of Atlanta. So naturally, we're gonna root for the hometown team, stuff like that. And just last night, our franchise player of the last 8 years of both of our lives has been traded to the Washington Wizards. You heard it here first. Well, I mean, not here first, but you know what I mean. Trae Young is gone, unfortunately. It was definitely a polarizing career on the Hawks for sure. Like, given how many fans were happy to see him leave versus how many fans were heartbroken that the front office actually went through with pulling the trigger. There's multiple layers you can pull this shit back. Obviously, the biggest part of it was Trae's contract. He was going to get a $49 million player option he could pick up this offseason if he wanted to. And he was only going to demand more money with that supermax, that $229 million supermax. And we know that, defense wins championships. And I say that because in doing the research for this podcast, Brian Windhorst of the Hoop Collective on ESPN, he had said that the main reason for the Hawks not giving Trae that extension is that, it's kind of hard to give a player that you have to hide on defense, $50+ million. So we saw how this culminated with the Hawks trading Trae Young to the Washington Wizards for CJ McCollum and Corey Kispert. Now, CJ McCollum's coming on an expiring contract already for like around $30 million. Corey Kispert's already on a deal. He has like 3 years left on his contract. CJ's 34, while Corey is 26. CJ comes to Atlanta averaging around 18 points a game, like 3 rebounds, 3 assists, stuff like that. And Corey is really known for just being a great shooter, as he is most definitely. And the Hawks certainly need that on their bench. And he's a wing as well. So I think he'll slide right in Quinn Snyder's offense. But I am intrigued to see how CJ McCollum will fare in this Hawks system. He even said last night, after he got traded, that he's really familiar with the way the Hawks play, their fast-paced play style, how they like to get out in transition. He was in the Eastern Conference for a little bit. The Hawks play the Wizards pretty frequently, so he did get a taste of the Atlanta Hawks while he was playing against us for sure. But yeah, man, like the shit's fucking crazy. I set the stage. He's really gone, unfortunately. Like the biggest thing about it for me last night, it was watching the game. And like, it's different when like the world is aware of the elephant that's in the room. You got the cameraman panning to Trae over and over and over and over, right when the Trae got through. And like, you see Trae smiling, not like that, but you see him talking to, his teammates, stuff like that. But then you see him get up. He daps up DC Young Fly. You see Atlanta native DC Young Fly absolutely embraced him, said something to him like, yo, you're always good down here. You can tell by the way he was looking in Trae's face and like the stuff, like if you read his lips, like it was definitely a sentiment of endearment for sure, knowing that the person he saw grow for the Hawks, knowing he's about to be gone, so he went up to multiple trainers, multiple teammates. And the biggest thing for me, man, was seeing him dap up the fans when he was leaving, like all those children, because some of those kids, this is a new day and age. All these kids got iPhones, they got social media. They're most definitely aware that Trae is not on the team anymore, unfortunately. And just being and just not even being on the roster anymore. He didn't even want to be in the arena anymore. And I understand that 100%. He didn't even stay until the final bell of the clock. He just got up and left. And I understand it wasn't malicious. Like I said, he dapped up all the fans when he was leaving. He just knows it's a business and it's literally time to get out of there as soon as possible. So yeah, man, like I feel for those fans that saw that last night. I when I was going to bed last night, I was thinking of all like the little kids that like were low-key heartbroken. Like, let's be quite honest, there's probably a lot of kids out there that idolized Trae Young, didn't give a fuck about the wins and the losses, just really enjoyed his play style, his crossovers, his passes, and they got to see him every night, playing for their hometown team. But unfortunately, he's gone. It is a business. It's a results business, most of all. And yeah, man, he's moving on. I wish him nothing but the best, absolutely, out in Washington. We're going to get to that deep dive a little later, but I really did just want to just harp on that for a little bit, because I really got to see Trae really show his love to the fans literally one more time in the State Farm Arena repping the Hawks. So Yeah, man, it's unfortunate. Like I remember, and this is the last thing I'm gonna say before I pass to you, Gary. I remember, like seeing back in 2016, when Al Horford had left the Hawks. Al Horford was here for 9 years. We drafted him with the third overall pick. We also made the Eastern Conference Finals with Al Horford as our star player as well. All those guys, Kyle Korver, Paul Millsap. I remember seeing that core get broken up one by one, and then the Hawks just fall to the bottom of the Eastern Conference after that. And that's, of course, how we got Trae. But, like, I'm just saying, it's like seeing how those kids are going through that right now. It reminds me when I saw the team that I saw in high school win 60 games and we're in the Atlanta Hawks uniforms. I saw them get broken up. And now someone who had been in Atlanta became synonymous with the Hawks 4 years is no longer here, unfortunately. So how do you feel about the trade and this Trae Young's overall time in Atlanta?
A four-time All-Star, All NBA 13, NBA assist leader last season, NBA All Rookie First Team, and most of all, he was the Hawks' all-time franchise leader in assists at 4,837 and three-point field goals at 1,295 and six and points of 12,413. That should tell you that Trey Young not only was the second best player in franchise history since Dominique Wilkins, but he poured a lot into this team, into the city, into his teammates, his coaches. I mean, from top to bottom, all the way through the whole 9 yards. And you and I wasn't. I mean, I was probably a baby when Nick was still playing. You may not. I don't think you was even born at the time, um, but regardless, I didn't grow up watching Dominique Wilkins. So when I was growing up, I was watching the Josh Smith and the Joe Johnson and Al Horford eras, and then you still had Al and Kyle Korver and Jeff Teague, and now we've seen with Trae and John Collins and other guys. But for me, I would say as a Hawks fan, it's been amazing to see Trey Young, as great of a player he is, to see him uh, be an icon for this team. And I'm not even really, talking about him being a future Hall of Famer and stuff. I hope that he will one day, but I know for sure that he is going to be a Hawks legend. Everybody is going to talk about him still. And I will say that it's not, it's shocking that a lot of people are sad, meaning the fans seeing him go, because for me, even when I was watching the game, and as we knew that the trade was, even though the trade is not official yet,
Yep.
but we know that he's going to Washington. But just to see him, like you mentioned, dapping up DC Young Fly and saying goodbye to his coaches, it's just like, wow. It's just crazy how, man, like, this is actually happening. And we know it's business at the end of the day. It's nothing personal. Just doing what's best for both sides. So we all get it. But as a fan, it hits different when you're actually seeing that happen. So seeing him walk in and out of the tunnels and all that kind of stuff, it's just like, man, because I always hope that he would retire as a Hawk, and I'm pretty sure a lot of fans could say the same thing for their favorite players. I mean, Kawhi Leonard. Some people thought he would retire as a Spur because of the championships that he has helped won, or well, actually, no, just one championship, but still all the things he's contributed to. Or you could say LeBron James, for example. A lot of fans were devastated when he left to join Miami. So it's just that when you have that one special player as a fan, you always want them to like rip your city until they call it quits. So, but no, I actually on X, I actually text, not really a text, but I basically sent a message to Trey Young's father and just let him know, like, hey man, your son Trey was a great player for this team, and we know that the city, of Atlanta will miss him very much, and I wish him nothing but the best. And he had like tweet and stuff, um, but yeah, like I said, I'm actually looking forward to the future and what this Hawks front office and ownership group has in store for this team. I know
Mhm.
this team is still not done. I anticipate that they're still going to make another move, but we'll get into that later. But yeah, it's gonna take a minute for a lot of us to, really wrap around our heads that Trey is actually gone. A lot of us didn't expect this would happen, but
Right.
like I said, it happened. So I just thank Trey just for the amazing moments that he has brought to this team, because I can't even tell you how many clutch baskets he's made, how many game winners, not just in the regular season, but in the playoffs as well. I mean, he's had so many big plays. It's just remarkable. And so for me to be able to see that in real time is a great thing to always remember, because like I said, I wasn't there, in front of the TV to watch Dominique Wilkins. And so being able to see Trey to have such a huge impact for this team is remarkable. So like I said, I thank him for the big memories and the moments that he has brought to this team and to the fans. And I wish him nothing but the best in Washington. They have a really solid young core. So I know he's going to come in, be a leader, and help them try to win games, as soon as possible whenever they can. So it's going to be very exciting. So I'm happy for him. So I wish him nothing but the best.
Right. Yeah, man. And like it's just really unfortunate. Like you listed out all the achievements, like I think I even wrote an article that I put on Soaring Down South that I think Trae, like even just his career, I thought he was defying the odds from the moment he like stepped his foot on the floor. Like even coming
Yeah.
in, just getting traded for Luka on draft night. No one, of course you were watching Eurobasket, Luka won Eurobasket MVP, things of that nature. Fast
Hmm.
forward, Trae has a wonky summer league. Fast forward a little bit more, he has a bad
Yep.
first half of the rookie year, and
Yep.
then at the end of his rookie year, he goes off. And in that second year, Trae Young averages 29 points a game at like 20 years old. So I do
Hmm.
think that it's not because I don't want people to rely on revisionist history and try to like disregard
Hmm.
his legacy and disrespect it. I think he tried the absolute best with what he was given when he was down here. 6 of the 8 years he was here, he had a super incompetent general manager that went on to get fired in Landry Fields. And he had an extremely cheap owner in Tony Wrestler who purchased the team like in 2015. So it's
Yep.
about 3 years before Trae even got here. So and we
Yep.
know Wrestler did not want to pay any money whatsoever to get Trae any help at all, and I think that really showed how good of a player that he was during that Eastern Conference Finals run. And I think, it's not even like to continue to harp on that because it is a part of his legacy now. He has made it that far as the main guy of a team. We can look back on it now that his era is officially over. The 2021 Atlanta Hawks was the best team Trae Young ever had. It was the best team of that era. They were 41-31. They finished positive that year after the pandemic. And they were a buzzsaw. They beat New York in the first round. They beat Philadelphia in the second round, going 7 games. And Trae's like the reason they're winning most of as the main guy. He's showing he can, lead a team, even not having like a second person that can really go out and get a bucket like that. Of course, that's before John Collins really suffered some of his injuries, but Trae was still dropping like 30 a game, 40 a game, and it culminated with like that 40-point performance in Milwaukee. And I think people forget that was in game one of that series. We stole game one in the Eastern Conference Finals. And like that's when shit really started to get real. Of course, we saw Milwaukee win game two. And then that whole Trae Young referee shit happens in game three. The Hawks win game four. But then Trae obviously just was not the same after suffering that bone bruise. And then from then on there, he suffered a lot of injuries, whether like it was his shoulder problems during the whole end of the Nate McMillan era. It was a lot of things. And of course, we saw it culminate with the MCL sprain that he suffered this season. But I think at the end of his legacy, I think he is absolutely a top 3 Hawk of all time, just given that he didn't really have that much of a supporting cast when he was down here, but he still managed to compile these astronomical numbers in assists and passing. That's strictly based off his skill level. I think the NBA is completely different than it was back in 2018. I think people got to understand, like when you're a 4-time All-Star and you're a star player, period, these coaches, they have coaches only meetings to literally strategize how they're going to try to pick you apart in these games, in these series, especially in the playoffs. So when you have a 6'1" point guard and that's the only guy you really have, when that's the offensive engine, that's it. It's really easy to game plan for that. And we never got to see Trae really play with this new all-star version of Jalen Johnson. Jalen got hurt last year, 36 games into it. Trae finished the rest of the season without him. And then Trae got hurt when Jalen was going off this year. So it's like, it's really unfortunate. I'm not going to be like lazy with it and try to act like it was Trae's fault. They went on that 7-game losing streak when Trae returned to the lineup, but Kristaps Porzingis was also missing for those games. It would have been the first time Trae ever had a teammate that was over the height of 7 feet tall. It's never happened. Not even with the prime Clint Capella, who was averaging 15 points and 14 rebounds a game and stuff like that. So I just think, for anyone to try to like poke at his legacy, I think it's unfair. The fact if you're an all-star on a bad team, I think you're definitely a good player for sure. Just being able to get numbers in trying to work that hard and still getting yours at the end of the night and stuff like that. So moving forward, like how you said, I do hope the best for him. He's still the leader of a team. I feel like that's what he wanted. I think he's confident that Washington is also going to give him the max contract as well, because he's their first all-star in a while. Really, like, especially since like the whole like John Wall era and stuff like that. Like, I mean, yeah, I'm really thinking about it. Yeah, because John Wall was a five-time.
There's nothing for you to think about. John Wall, it was the only superstar they've had.
I'm like, yeah, like, I mean, outside of Gilbert Arenas, of course, before that, but yeah, and like, congratulations to the Wizards. They're still gonna get a good pick this summer as well. It's like top 8 protected. They're like the 14th seed in the Eastern Conference, so they're definitely gonna get a good pick. Trae remains the leader of the team. He now has a 7-foot center, and Alex Sarr over in Washington, who's having a breakout year at that, spreading the floor as a 5 and everything Trae's ever needed, from a lob threat. He could back him up. He could drop. He's athletic. He can move his feet. Everything Trae's ever needed. And the big man, Alex Sarr, is about to be that, So I'm really happy for Alex Sarr. It definitely accelerates his development in Washington, having a solidified all-star to play under. We're going to see veteran Trae. We're going to see how it looks, at 27. We're going to see how veteran Trae looks leading a team for certain. But yeah, man, it's unfortunate. I'm not going to act like, I was celebrating it. I love what you said when it was like, is this really happening? Because that's really how it felt, It's one thing, because it's been a fucking rumor the last like 3 fucking seasons, you feel me? But it's different when it really happens in front of you like that. And man, like, you're seeing, like, again, like, seeing him leave, that shit was crazy, because the season's nowhere near over. We have 47 games left in this season, and now the Hawks look completely different than they did like 72 hours ago. So yeah, man, I wish him nothing but the best. I think he's gonna play great regardless of whatever happens this year. Like, we'll see what happens with Washington. They got Chris Middleton still, players like that. I like Bilal Coulibaly. He has a lot of defensive pieces that Trae could still work with, and some lob threats and 3-point shooters too. So he still has a lot to work with. And like I said, they got that pick coming. So that might be the last piece of their ensemble for Trae for the future. Hopefully he does get that max extension so he can just stay out there. But the one last thing I did want to say, because we're about to close the book on Trae, of course, I do think at one point he is going to go to like a blockbuster team. I think at one point, like, he might spend like 3 to 4 years in Washington, but I think at one point he is at 31 years old, something like that. He is going to be that third all-star on a team and finally, like, be like that role, that all-star point guard role, throwing lobs to 2 other superstars. I think Trae's going to, at one point, as he hits like a 6-time all-star and a 7-time all-star, he's going to realize, all right, I tried to carry a team. Most I made it was the ECF. I tried it again, trying to get a bag, but now I'm 31 now, going 4 years into the future and stuff like that. So now it's like, yo, I got to get a fucking ring, and Trae's always talked about getting a championship 100%. So I do think at one point, not like it'll be the Lakers or something, because, they have Luka. They're going to have Luka forever. They have Austin Reeves. They'll have Austin Reeves forever. So I do wonder, maybe like it'd be Minnesota or something. Maybe he'd team up with Anthony Edwards or something like that. But I do think at one point, Trae will go to a powerhouse in a win now move and try to get the championship 100%. I do think it's going to happen. And Hawks fans are just going to think about, damn, like not in a bad way, but like, yeah, like, we're happy for him and stuff like that. Because obviously, and how we're literally about to move on to, the Hawks had a lot to look forward to themselves. But in doing that, I want to wish Trae nothing but the absolute best. He's 27 years old. He's a millionaire. His family's going to eat forever. I enjoyed watching his time. I mean, my time watching him when he was down here. He would get shitted on a lot, even the residents of Atlanta, and he would still come out and still get better year by year. And that's it, man. Like, I wish him nothing but the best. I got nothing bad to say. And that's it, man. Like, we'll see how like the fans review his legacy years from now and stuff like that. But I wish him nothing but the best, most definitely. And moving on to the second topic, because we're still sticking with the Hawks, and even then, I feel like Trae would be happy to hear us talk about this, most definitely. It's time for the Jalen Johnson era now. It's official. It's officially on. They're putting my man to the forefront, most definitely. For those of y'all who are observant, like your boy, I'm always watching like all this shit, you know, especially because NBA teams, any people that are in that echelon of millions of dollars and stuff like that, everything they do is intentional. So when you have NBA franchises showing commercials and stuff like that of Jalen Johnson before Trae Young, and they're switching like they got like the all-star graphic, they have Jalen in the front of the graphic, Trae behind him. So I'm like, how the fuck? and that was weeks before Trae was even traded. So I think the franchise themselves, they definitely liked what they were seeing from Jalen Johnson this year. Like I said, he played great last year, but I think even most diehard Hawks fans did not expect JJ to even at one point. He got like 4 triple doubles in a row this season. He comes in this year at 24 years old, averaging 23.5 points per game, 10 rebounds with 8.3 assists. Those are his averages, motherfucking averages. You feel me? Like he's damn near like Nikola, like real shit. So, I think with Jalen, he's really shown that he can lead a team. In the time that Trae was not here, that's mainly what he did on both sides of the floor, being a vocal leader. If he had to be the playmaker, he was doing that. If he had to be the main scorer, he was doing that. Even the main rebounder, he was doing that. So I think at this point, the writing has been on the wall. But now that it's official and that Jalen's really like our guy now, you know, a part of me still can't believe it. Not like he's not capable of that. It's just like fucking crazy. And we've been watching it most of this season, so I should be used to it by now. But it's just like, it's just still fucking crazy to me that Jalen's like our fucking guy now, you know? But of course, he can do it 100%. I believe in him 100%. And yeah, we start this new era off on a positive note. We extended Dyson Daniels with a $100 million extension. Jalen Johnson already has his extension, 5 years, over $150 million. So we got our building blocks. Zachary Reese came out, and I heard this from Clutch Points. It was reported by Clutch Points that Reese is seeking the max rookie extension. And he had 25 points last night. And since December 12th, Zachary has shot like 46% from 3. So he's hitting his stride. He's getting more usage now. He's not just being relegated to sitting in the corner and just fucking jacking shit up. And like, nah, he's getting to show his bag. He's doing step back threes, taking dudes off the dribble, all that stuff. So it's a lot to be happy about in the Jalen Johnson era, most definitely. We have an extremely long team. We still have a great starting point guard in Nickeil Alexander-Walker, who's already on a 4-year contract. And we got that Pelicans pick this summer, which I think that's who Jalen's co-star is really going to be. You feel me? So how do you feel about the beginning of a new era for the Atlanta Hawks moving forward with Jalen, Garrett?
Yeah, I mean, when you trade a guy like Trae Young, so you're flipping the page and now you're moving forward with Jalen Johnson as your new face of the franchise. So many of us knew it was coming, Jalen taking over and having the Hawks to be his team now. So now it's just more so of how you're going to build around JJ going forward. And so far, he is surrounded with solid players with the likes of Nickeil Alexander-Walker, Dyson Daniels, and Shea and Okongwu. And of course, like, as you mentioned, we have the Pelicans pick, and we're banking that it will be at least a top 5 pick. So you're talking about the likes of a Darren Peterson or a Cam Boozer or AJ DeBansta, Caleb Wilson, or even Jaden Quaintance out of Kentucky. So you have a lot of players out of this draft class that's going to be really, really, really good. You're talking about future star or all-star caliber players coming out of this draft. So you're hoping that pick lands in the top 5. So there's like I said before, there's a lot to look forward to. But to your point, Jalen Johnson has been on a tear, and the numbers that he's been putting up, not just for last month where he averaged a triple-double, but even when he first got drafted, I knew that it was only going to be a matter of time before he was starting to put up more triple-double performances. And
Mhm.
it sucked that he didn't really get significant playing time. In his rookie year, he was spending a lot of time at College Park with the Skyhawks. But now, of course, like I said, he's the face of the franchise, and he's just been doing a significant job of just being a leader and just uh, really being that guy that we need, the guy that's able to do everything, be able to score, rebound, assist, get steals, block shots, to have that kind of versatility on your team. That's something that no team is ever going to give up. So it's not surprising when you hear these trade talks that JJ and the Pelicans pick are off limits, because we know the value that they bring to this team. So yeah, for JJ, I think that the Hawks, and I will say this here too about the whole sample size that we have without Trae.
Mhm.
Um, it's slightly a different conversation, but um, I will say that I think you're starting to see that now. Okay, when we're taking a more of a defensive first approach, now you're starting to see the fruits to that labor. So we know Trey has always been a defensive liability for his entire career. We all get it. But when you have a Nikhil Alexander Walker and Dyson Daniels in your backcourt, and when you have guys such as JJ and Okongwu and Richie that are more plus defenders, you're starting to see like the future or the vision of how this team can be competitive. I do want to say, and a lot of you probably know, that the Hawks are not done making moves, and it looks like that the Hawks realistically could get a deal done where we can make a move to get Anthony Davis here. Now, I will say that Anthony Davis on paper on this team would definitely raise the bar for this Atlanta Hawks team. You're talking about a guy who is in his early 30s, but a guy that's capable of giving you 20, 15, and 2 or 3 blocks on any given night. So just to have that kind of two-way production on this team is something that this Hawks team would need if they're looking to make a real push into the playoffs and beyond that. So of course we'll be in tune for that, and of course we have a few weeks left before the trade deadline on February 5th. But no, I'm very excited for Jalen Johnson and his future with this team. And like I said, just the production that he brings on the court is something that's going to significantly help this team win games. So it's just now is more so of how you're going to build around Jalen. So you have promising young pieces around him now. So it's more so of just finding other pieces that you're going to need to win games. So, like I said, we know the Pelicans pick. We're hoping that would be top 5. So we're expecting that player to be added to this group.
Yep.
And of course, with our cap situation and trades and draft assets, so we're able to make other moves as well. So we have a lot of flexibility going into the summer. So yeah, it's been really good to see Jalen produce at a high level, and I'm 95% sure he's going to be a first time All Star.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
It's definitely going to be a problem if he doesn't, because there's just no way he's not going to be an All Star this year. There's just no way.
Mhm.
But yeah, there's going to be a lot of excitement moving forward with JJ. So I'm just ready to see what the front office and the ownership group is going to do to make that happen.
Quick,
Yeah, man. Oh,
quick
go
question.
ahead, Harry.
Quick question for you both. How much do you trust Anthony Davis?
Me, shit, man, because we already dealing with the Kristaps bullshit. I'll be quiet, honest, man. I don't know if Anthony's really worth the squeeze, if the juice is worth the squeeze, because like that's a lot of money for a player who might it's 47 games left in the season. I think AD probably plays like fucking 20, not like 20, 25, like 47 games, some of those back-to-backs.
And
Fuck.
he's going to be looking for a max deal even afterwards. So
For real. So, like, yeah, I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze. And also, the biggest thing about it, 80 doesn't really match the timeline like that. You know, we're like one of the youngest teams in the NBA. And I get it. You know, we're getting even younger with that pick, with the Pelicans pick. But how you said yourself, Garrett, those three, that top 3, those players are damn near might be all-stars when they hit their prime. So, yeah, man, get my answer on it. I don't really think the juice is worth the squeeze like that. But obviously, like Garrett said, it does increase the height of the Hawks. But I don't think they should do it, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, just to set the record straight, to be honest with you, I'm fully aware about Anthony Davis, his health issues, and the contract that he's on now, and of course, he's seeking another contract. But I will say this here: my thing is this: we have seen this team, and this is one of the reasons why. Not saying that I wanted Trae gone, but under certain circumstances, um, it had to be done because this team was just God knows how many times or how many years this team has been mediocre, right? And just haven't been able to really get over the hump. Yes, we've had a couple appearances, Eastern Conference Finals, but we haven't been able to make it to a finals appearance or win a championship. So the way I look at it is this: I think the Hawks are looking at Anthony Davis as a player that I wouldn't necessarily fit the timeline, but more so that can really contribute to this team. And with this core, this team was also able to function to a degree with or without Trae. So I think it's where, even though that we are one of the youngest teams, in the NBA, I think it's where they still feel like that this team is still talented enough or old enough to still go out and win games, and which I believe too. You have Dyson Daniels and Nikhil Alexander Walker, Kongu and JJ. These guys have enough experience enough to where they know how to go win games. And so now you're adding that veteran leadership with Anthony Davis and how he's able to contribute to this team. Now, I personally wouldn't make the move only because, as I mentioned, with his health and his contract, and he's also going to ask for another one. So I personally felt like initially it's where we should have just, trade Trae and then whatever cap flexibility and draft assets, just build from there. But I can't be mad at it because at the same time, I'm not really against it because of the fact that you're still trying to put this team in a position to win. Now, Antoine, you made this point already about the previous regime of not really going all in with Trae. You traded for DeJounte Murray, but you didn't want to go in for a Pascal Siakam or a Lauri Markkanen or a Brandon Ingram because you didn't want to give up certain assets or you didn't want to pay the money to do so. And unfortunately, that's part of the reason why the Hawks didn't get a reasonable or really a valuable return for Trae, because you decided to do at the last minute to trade him when his value was low. So it's like, if you wanted real value for Trae, you should have done it, a few years ago if you was thinking about going into a rebuild, because that's literally what happened. You traded for DJ, then you decided not to do anything else. So that's why I say for these years, the team has indicated they were serious about winning, but they never really put all their chips in and really made a competitive team. So the way I look at it is that for Ansi Salah, the Hawks general manager, it seems like that he's actually trying to make a move to make this team competitive to where we could be a top 4 seed or top 5 seed in the East. So I have to give him credit for at least trying. So like I said, I wouldn't be mad at it if he made the deal, because I'm all about winning at the end of the day. So if he makes the deal, then cool. And so I do believe that if you are a team that's looking to win, whether it's an NBA or any team sport, sometimes you do have to take those calculated risks and then just see what happens. So I think it's kind of worth the risk, but I think Ansi Salah knows what he's doing. So it is more so just waiting to see what other moves he's going to make outside of this Anthony Davis trade. We could see another move before the deadline, but at the very least, I'm expecting to do the Anthony Davis trade and then figure everything else out in the offseason. So yeah, for AD, if it's around 40 games, it wouldn't surprise me if we shut him down, for the rest of the season, just to see if we're able to help him with his health. But if I'm anticipating he's still going to play, then yeah, I would say maybe around 20 games, somewhere in there. But yeah, we just have to see how everything unfolds. So yeah, I think it would be a good trade at the end of the day. So I'm not mad at it.
And yeah, man, it's interesting because like we're seeing all these all these little reports come out. They're asking for Zachary Risache in the pick. They're saying Risache is off limits, man.
Yeah. I mean, I can't, man. That's another thing too. I can't, even though, and like I said, this is another conversation. But I'll just
Yeah.
say this. I mean, with Zach, he hasn't really been playing a lot of minutes ever since he arrived here because there's been talk that Quinn Snyder really didn't want to draft Zach. It was more so of getting Donovan Clingan because we know coming from Utah, he had that 7 foot center and Rudy Gobert, a multi-time defensive player of the year. So I guess he wanted to translate that to Atlanta, which I understand. But for me, with Zach being the former number one option, or not, I'm not option, number one pick, I think he deserves to play full time minutes. So if that's 30 plus minutes, then so be it. But yeah, I think it'd be very, very, very soon to give up on Zach. But again, that's the front office decision. So yeah, I think I wouldn't trade Ricochet, but like I said, if there's another plan that's going to help us win now in the future, then you have to consider all options. But I wouldn't be so quick to give up on him right now.
Not at all, man. And like, yo, he's fucking 20 years old. You feel me? And like I
Yeah.
said, he's hitting his stride in the last few games. He had like 16 points in the second half when he fouled out of that fucking Toronto game. So like that was in the second half, man. So that was
Yeah.
him going cold, and you can see it on the floor. He's playing way more aggressive. He's just shooting with way more confidence. Him and Kyle Korver have been working for a long fucking time. They have, man. He's been working with him one-on-one over in Brookhaven, man. So
Mm-hmm. Yep.
they've been looking good, man. I'm really excited for Zachary, and I think the fact that other teams are asking for him, he's a good player. It's just he was being utilized in the wrong way, and I think now we're gonna see him finally damn near become a number 2 option, alongside Zachary. You feel me? So I think out of all these dudes, I think he has some of the best scoring potential from his size, his athleticism, and the jump shot. So we'll see, man. It's really a matter of him you just got to keep improving. He's 20 years old, like I said. So
right. Real quick, I want to kind of back this train up just a little bit.
For sure.
And this is referring with Trae. Do y'all, and this really goes out to all Atlanta Hawks fans, do y'all regret the Luka Trae Young trade during the draft?
I'll go first, Garrett. I saw
now, and so I want y'all to give it from both perspectives, from like trade day, and then of course after what we've seen now.
For sure.
Because I'll give you my answer. They should have kept Luka from the jump. There's no fucking way. If I look at 2 guards, neither one of them plays defense worth a damn, but one's way taller than the other. I'm going with the motherfucker who has the height. We learned this. We learned this fucking decades ago with Magic Johnson. You take the motherfucker who's 6'8", right, and can dribble the rock. And what's even greater about Luka is he can put the rock in the basket, however way you need him to,
and rebound.
Yeah. So just from both perspectives, from draft day, and of course what we know now. How did you feel when the trade happened? And then how do you feel now, knowing what we know about both Trae Young and Luka?
I'll be quick, Garrett, so you can go. Like, coming out of Oklahoma, Trae led the NCAA in points and assists. So off the rip, he had a great rookie year. I mean, freshman year, we knew about him. He's a great player. Okay, red draft. I'm not watching Eurobasket every day, man. I'm not, man. I knew, like, I'm doing my research. I see that he's 19 years old. He won MVP. Okay, this this dude from Real Madrid's really good. You feel me? We draft him. All right, cool. Adrian Wojnarowski pops up. We trade him. We get Trae that night. As soon as I hit the summer league, I was kind of like, okay, you feel me? It's like I said, during the trade shit, Trae didn't play that good. And Luka, like, literally the moment he touched the floor, like, you just saw what he was capable of, for shit sure. We saw what he was capable of. So, like, just to get to your answer, we've seen Trae became a 4-time All-Star. Luka's a 5-time All-Star. Luka's a 5-time first-team All-NBA. Trae's like a 1-time third, All-NBA third team. I do agree with you when you say you draft a player that has the height, because neither could play defense. You feel me? I argue that Trae's a better playmaker than Luka Doncic. So I think Trae has the edge there, but obviously Luka has better efficiency and his overall scoring with his size and stuff like that. But man, like after seeing what they did and stuff like that, like I said, Trae averaged 29 points a game his second year. He was really good. Dallas struggled with Luka, but they worked harder at getting him players. He had fucking Kyrie Irving before he left that team. You feel me? And again, even the year they made the finals, that was way more aggressive than the Hawks had ever fucking been when it came to Trae. You feel me? So individually wise, to answer your question, do I regret it? Nah, man. I fucking don't, man. I fucking don't, because we made the Eastern Conference Finals and this nigga stepped on a referee's fucking foot. The team we lost to won the fucking ring that year. We took them niggas 6 games. So it's not it was nah, man. He was a great fucking player. He fitted this team. Travis Sling did that shit. I think he did it, because he wanted a black star in Atlanta and shit like that. I'm not gonna lie. I think he knew more about Trae, this Travis being an American, and then he knew about Luka. And like I said, Trae had an outstanding freshman year at Oklahoma, one of the greatest freshman years of all time. So, I don't regret it. We saw Trae be good on this team. They got lazy after 2021. They didn't build a team around him. Dallas fucking sucked too. That's how they got Derek Lively and shit like that. You feel me? So they just made more trades. They were more active and shit like that. And because that's different ownership and shit. Like I said, Tony Rester was super fucking cheap. His whole time he was fucking down here with Trae and stuff like that. So yeah, man. My final answer, do I regret it? Hell nah. Hell nah. He was a good fucking player. We just didn't do right by him. We didn't build team around him, because Luka's been ass on defense too. And that finals day, the Celtics fucked him up on defense. They were going at him on defense, 6'7", all that shit. So yeah, man, for real. And even then on the Lakers, they're 23 and 13 right now. Of course, Luka's amazing. He's one of the best first quarter players ever. But Luka just had fucking 33 points, 8 rebounds, and 8 assists. And they fucking lost their last game. There's been times he's going crazy. And the Lakers fucking lose. So it's man, dudes can play that dead number shit all they want. But it's nah, man. I don't regret it. He was a great fucking player. And we saw the pinnacle. We literally knocked on the door of the NBA Finals, and we lost to a generational talent who had one of the greatest finals performances ever to win a fucking ring. And we only fucking lost the shit because our star player got fucking hurt. You feel me? So yeah, man, that's my take on it. Garrett, how you feel?
Yeah, I will say maybe in hindsight, yeah, I think the better odds of you keeping Luka would be higher now, because of the fact that I think we know Luka is a better overall player than Trae, because he is taller, he is bigger, so he's able to have more of a advantage of Trae, of getting to his spots, how he's effective on the floor, and all that good stuff. I will say at the time of the trade, and then probably within the first 4 years, I would tell you that the trade wasn't really bad, because
hell nah.
Yeah, because with Trae, everything that he's done for this team, it didn't seem like a bad trade at all. Now I will say that the only difference is to Antoine's point, is that the Mavs, they've tried, and when I say tried, they legitimately tried to build a winner around Luka. You went out and you traded for Kyrie Irving. You went out and traded for PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford, and you drafted Derek Lively. So you had legitimate pieces. And once upon a time they did go to the finals. Even though that they lost, they were still able to get there. And unfortunately for the Hawks, we never even really tried, in my opinion. And uh, yeah, we traded for DeJounte Murray, but everybody in their mama knew that that was not going to be enough.
No,
And even to this day, and I still say it, I still say it to myself, like what thing that irritates me the most is this. You went out and you traded for DeJounte Murray. Okay, cool. You knew that this
I was
team
not a fan of
needed
Trae.
more. Yeah, you knew this team needed more to not just win, not just win games, but if you're trying to aim to win a championship, you needed more than and then some. So my thing is this: is that you traded for Dejounte, and then you decided, we're not going to give up Kobe Buffkin for Pascal Siakam. That was a uh, that was off limits, so we're not going to do that. Okay, you scratch that off. Then you had the opportunity later in that summer to go get Laurie Marketing. You said no because the price tag was too rich. You're talking about trading Kobe Buffkin, Bogdan Bogdanovich, Mo Gay, and I think maybe 2, 3 first round picks. You said no. Okay, you scratch that off again. Then last trade deadline, you got an opportunity to get Brandon Ingram. You didn't want to do that because you didn't want to pay the money. Okay, so you had 3 missed opportunities to build a winning team around Trae Young, and you didn't even try. But even before Brandon Ingram and Laurie Marketing, you decided to go into a rebuild. Okay, so let's go get Patty Mills. Let's go get Bruno Fernando, Dominic Brawler, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So my thing is this: if you knew there was a possibility of rebuilding this team, then there was no reason for you to trade DeJounte Murray. There was no reason for you to trade 3 first round picks for the guy when you knew there was a possibility you wasn't going to really go all in for it. And that's just my thing. So that's why I say it has to make sense. So that's why I told people multiple times that if you were going to build this team around Trae at this time, then you have to go all in for it. And if not, then you have to do the man a favor, trade him, and just build around your young core. And then hopefully at some point when you feel like you're ready to go for it, hopefully you get it right this time. So I think that's just the main thing for me when it comes to Luka and Trae. I don't think the trade was bad overall. I just think that now in hindsight, if I were to like go back and go back to the 2018 draft, I would have kept Luka because hopefully, well, not hopefully, but you would assume that if we kept Luka, of course, that we would have had better moments with Luca. I think he would have put up bigger numbers than Trae. Of course, we've seen that. But I think at that point, if we kept Luca, then maybe the front office or the ownership group would have had more motivation to actually build better pieces around. So in order for us to actually compete for a championship. So you didn't do that with Trae. And so now with Luca, he's in LA with the Lakers. Of course, we know that they're going to try to build a containing team around him. We know LeBron's not going to be there long. So, but yeah, I think overall it wasn't a bad trade. Trae has done a tremendous job for this team. We've had a lot of success. As Antoine mentioned, we went to the East Conference Finals with him. And of course, I mentioned all the accolades that he had earlier. But so, yeah, it wasn't a bad trade at all. I just think that in hindsight, now that he's gone, looking back over everything, I would say keeping Luca would have been better only because I think that Luca would have been a lot more motivation to the front office and to the ownership group to actually go for it and compete for a title. And they just didn't do that with Trae. So
Yeah,
that's the only reason for it. So
yeah. I only asked that just because. I mean, of course, a lot of people didn't know who Luca was, but also like when you go back and look at what Luca did prior to the NBA, like he was already playing in the pros.
mm-hmm.
So that's why that was like one thing for me. Like he already knows what the physicality is.
Yep.
He's able to adapt. He would be able to adapt to the NBA a lot easier than people thought. So, and like I said, size at that position matters, and he pretty to me pretty much a true point guard. Like he can look to pass first. But the scoring portion of not only the scoring portion, but the rebounding portion of it also helps. So yeah, I'm with you. So like if let's say the Hawks keep him, then I think this Hawks team would look a lot different because like you said, the organization would have had a little bit more motivation and be like, oh shit, we really got something here. Let's build around. Like now you can bring in, well, hell, how long is Jalen Johnson's only been here? What?
Probably this is 5th year this season.
So yeah, you can bring in now. You can bring in a
the 21 draft.
Yeah. You know, now you can bring in a Jalen Johnson or whoever. Like now you can, like that. I think the way that they're building this team now with the length that they're going with,
Luka would be a much better fit.
But again, being a liability on defense is what you have to worry about. But of course, if your team's good enough, they can hide it. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because I mean, like you say,
with
Luka being 6'7", 6'8", he covers more ground. So
that's what I was gonna say.
Yeah, more to work with. Yep.
Literally, he can at least try harder. With his body.
You have more to work with there. Yep.
Yeah, that's all. That's what I just wanted to see.
Nah, I get it. It's forever gonna be a sentiment. I was even talking to fucking Garrett about this shit. I'm like, man, yo, can you imagine if the fucking Hawks get the number 1 overall pick this summer, the year after the fucking Mavericks traded Luka, and they got the number 1 overall pick? They got Cooper Flag after, and I put out a tweet or whatever just to see what the Hawks fans are really thinking. Most of them, out of the Trinity, as I like to say. All of them want really Darren Peterson, especially after losing Trae Young a couple nights ago. Most of them do want that point guard coming out of Kansas, Darren Peterson. Some do view him as a generational prospect. They said the same thing about AJ DeBanza, and he is indeed he's fucking great. AJ, he's phenomenal. I'm not gonna act like he's not.
That's my guy.
Out of all three, I think is guaranteed to be a star. I think it's AJ DeBanza, his intangibles, his size, his basketball IQ. I think he's best fit, especially being a small forward, to lead a team. But I think Darren, again, all three of them have star potential. But if I had to bet which one, if I had to literally bet my bank account, which one I think I think AJ DeBanza is gonna I just his feel for the game, his aggressiveness already, his confidence at the young age he is. And then Cameron Boozer has amazing basketball IQ. He leads the ACC in scoring, the same conference that AJ DeBanza plays in. So this shit is it's champagne problems, you feel me? But most of them do want Darren Peterson. We have Nikhil Alexander Walker. He can be a starting point guard. Dyson Daniels himself can be a starting point guard if we really want to do it like that, but I think it just depends. I was thinking to myself that the Hawks, we might fuck around if we don't get because I think is going to happen, we're going to get the 2nd or the 4th overall pick, not to fuck us or nothing like that. I just truly believe that's what's going to happen. I think it really depends what team gets the number 1 overall pick to see who goes first. Cause it really depends on the team need, because all three of those players can be stars wherever they go. But it really does depend. But I only bring it up because the Hawks fans should be happy. Obviously we just got done addressing with the whole Luka Trae shit. That shit's done now. But that parallel is insane that the Hawks do have a high overall pick, just like how the Mavericks did the year they got rid of Luka. So it's only a matter of time. Hawks fans, they hopefully some that are crying, hopefully they're not too sad, for too long. Because right when they hit to June, y'all should be happy. You're gonna see someone cross that stage, and I'm not jinxing this shit. You've seen the reports. Unseen Saleh says that pick is off limits, no matter who calls the phone. They said.
And I will say this too, and I will add this too, just to remind all of our Hawks fans and for anybody that's interested in the Hawks and where they're gonna end up in the draft, just to keep in mind that the pick is the most favorable between New Orleans and Milwaukee. And Milwaukee, they haven't been playing their best basketball either. And so hopefully that the Bucks, they don't make the playoffs either. I think right now they're currently the 11th seed, if I'm not mistaken. So if they miss the playoffs, then you get 2 bites of the apple. So if the Pelicans, if they can't get us into the top 5, then it's possible that Milwaukee can. And just to keep in mind, to Antoine's point, we've seen the Mavericks and the Hawks in the past 2 drafts where they were not the worst team in the NBA and ended up getting the first overall pick. So we just need as much luck as we get. So not just to root for New Orleans, but also hopefully that the Bucks, they continue to lose more games. So, but I know they're in the mix of getting other guys around Giannis, but of course that'll be for another day. So hopefully Milwaukee, they'll continue to lose as well.
And yeah, man, and even before we get to the last topic, I love how you put that in. Milwaukee, they are the 11th seed in the Eastern Conference right now. They're 5-5 in their last 10, and they are truly struggling. So, like I'm saying, like the fact that it's just such a crazy fucking season right now, and like the stars aligned for the Hawks. If they did want to move on, it had to be now. You already have your franchise centerpiece you can build on right now, and you have another one coming in the summer. So it's like, bro, like, I mean, in Onsi Saleh, he said during the pre-draft media last year, for one, he was mad when they traded Derek Queen. Derek Queen's obviously playing fucking great right now. You feel me? We rolled the dice and it paid off exponentially. The fucking Pelicans are like 8-31 right now. And you saw Onsi. He said that he drafts whatever player, regardless of the fucking position. He does not care about who we have, where, this and that. Hell no.
That's the way to go.
Whoever is available, we are drafting the best player, regardless of position. He said it himself. So that's what, like, yeah, man, he came in here. He's about to really put his imprint on this team. This team's about to look so fucking different by next fall. This is about to be crazy, But moving on to our last topic of the night, another team that will literally be in this discussion as well. We did want to give the Washington Wizards their just due on this podcast, most definitely. Obviously, they did get the face of the franchise, a new one with Trae Young, how we did mention. So shout out to them, you feel me? On paper, it's a pretty solid team, most definitely. Like I said, you got Bilal Coulibaly, you got Trae Young, Alex Sarr, who's developing, really looking great this year. Justin Champagnie, you feel me? A good piece. Keyshawn George, Bub Carrington. It's a really nice core to build around Trae. And you're going to have that pick coming in this summer. I just checked multiple mock drafts. The Wizards, that pick ranges from around 3 to 5 right now. So if they get that 3rd or 4th pick, that's, I don't want to say Cameron Boozer or whatever, because like any of those dudes that's a fucking, that conversation just recycled like hell. But I do think that Caleb Wilson will be the consensus 4th overall pick. The Atlanta native Caleb Wilson, who is destroying everyone at UNC right now. He is probably the most athletic player in the draft. I've been thinking about drafting him too, man, because Caleb Wilson, he's such great. This really is. I mean, he's truly phenomenal. He's the best athlete. He's healthy. He's active on the offensive glass. The Hawks need that. He is 6'10", but his athleticism, he just jumps out the gym. And like I said, he's from Atlanta, so it really would be another cool story, like how we drafted Asa Noel the year before. And he's a great player, most importantly. So that top 4, the Hawks are good as long as they get a top 4 pick. But keeping it with the Wizards, I do think that Caleb Wilson would be good for them. I think like a Nate Amen would be good for them. They have a pretty decent backcourt. They're still developing Bub Carrington in that backcourt. I do think he's going to be a good player for them as well. But yeah, man, the Washington Wizards, like I said, man, like they're trying right now. Like they're the 14th seed in the East. They're 10-26. So Trae, I mean, man, like he's going out to Washington with a lot of fucking work to do, man. I'm not gonna lie. Like I said, he's going out there for the max contract. I think he's confident he'll get the max contract. And they're probably gonna want to build around him. You have an all-star for the first time in forever, like the boy Wiley said. Also, can't talk about the Washington Wizards without saying this. Shout out to John motherfucking Wall. Like he's on NBC now. Not NBC. He's on
Amazon Prime.
Yeah, Amazon Prime. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, with Dirk Nowitzki and that whole crew, Tracy McGrady. I woke up from a nap an hour ago. I saw that the fucking Wizards, they're retiring his jersey this season, like January 29th, like this month. So shout out to John Wall. He went through a lot of suicidal stuff. He's had a lot of quotes about going through a lot of mental issues after leaving the floor and stuff like that. So it's cool to see the 5-time All-Star get some love for the team that drafted him #1 overall. John Wall, most definitely. So with the current generation, I do think that this is a pretty solid team. I'm seeing people on Twitter and shit saying they're one piece away from like being like a 5th seed or a 6th seed. I kind of don't know about that. I do like Chris Middleton on this team as well. They got Trae Johnson as well. They got some pieces, but I just think that it's gonna be a little bit. So most of these pieces are still developing, like Bud Carrington, like Trae Johnson, like Keyshawn George. So it's only harder, and the best defenders on this team are Bilal Coulibaly and Alex Sarr. And I think the Wizards, it really depends on where their draft pick lands this summer. I feel like that's what's really gonna shape this team or not. I think they're better off trying to get a backup center behind Alex Sarr, maybe like Jaden Quantinance or something like that, or maybe even like like a Thomas Haw, something like that, Florida. So I'm just really a backup big in general, in my opinion. But how do you feel about this Washington Wizards team right now? Like I said, they are 10-26. They have a draft pick this summer though. So they're building for the future, and they have a new face of the franchise now to also build around for the future.
Yeah, the Washington, they're putting together a quite enticing young core. Of course, the guys that you mentioned with Alex Sarr, Trey Johnson, and Koulibaly, and Keyshawn George, they have a lot of enticing young guys. And of course, you add Trey, who's still young. Of course, he's the oldest out of the group at age 27. And of course, you have the pick this year, which is top 8 protected. So this kind of pissed me off today because now Washington, they're going to try to lose as many games as they can to avoid giving up that pick to the Knicks. So which means that Trae Young is not going to be playing that many games, and he's on my fantasy team. So I need that.
Yeah, me
to go out
too.
there, get his legs under him, get his rhythm back, so I can get back to winning games. But but that's a side joke. But no, Washington, they are doing a very good job of building a enticing young core with these guys along with Trae, and like I said, you add potentially a Cam Boozer or a Caleb Wilson or AJ DeBansa or Darren Pearson, because they pretty much have the same odds as the Pelicans do, so they could potentially get a top 3 pick as well. But I'm just saying, when you add either one of those guys with this group, I wouldn't say that they are a deep playoff team or anything like that, though. But I think they have at that point set a very solid foundation for these guys. So now at that point, it's just matters of just going out and then just filling in the puzzles, going out and get some veterans and just adding more talent around these guys to to really make it whole. So, but no, I think that they are a very good young team where they're at, even though that they're still working through things. But yeah, like I said, this young team has kind of gone. It's pretty come a far, long way, right? When we talk about the John Wall and the Bradley Beal era, and those guys were fun to watch, but obviously it didn't work. And now they're in a place where they're really investing into their future and really making sure that they build something that's going to last. So even to this day, I think Alex Sarr would have been great on this team, but of course, with all the politics and stuff, of course, we had to go with our guy, Richard Shape. But yeah, I think in the next few years, I think this team is going to be very, very exciting to watch. So, yeah, so if they're able to hold on to their pick this year, then, like I said, they end up getting a Darren Peterson or AJ DeBanster or Cam Boozer or Caleb Wilson, then, like I said, next few years, this team is going to be a real problem. So, assuming that Trae Young doesn't go anywhere, and as I mentioned before, I think any of these guys has a fair chance of becoming a future All-Star. So pairing Trae Young with that kind of talent, I think that's going to make them a deep playoff team. But like I said, that's years down the line. But yeah, I think they will be a very good team when they add whoever they add in this draft, and hopefully by next year, then they're able to start win more games, and hopefully they make a playoff appearance. I know a lot of Wizards fans are waiting for that because it's been what, a decade since they made the playoffs. Back when we beat them in the East Conference Finals, not East Conference Finals, but during that
Semis.
playoff run. But
Paul
yeah,
Pierce shit.
man, that even to this
That
day is
shit was
crazy,
crazy.
man. That was crazy, man.
That was
I
crazy as
still remember
fuck,
that day
bro.
watching it on in this room too, man.
Fucking Mike
Yeah, that
Muscala,
was crazy.
like
Yeah, that was crazy, man. But
crazy, man. That's
yeah, he
wild.
called
Like
he
that
called he
night,
yeah he called game, we called series. So that's how
bro.
that's
That
how it
shit was
went.
crazy as fuck watching that shit, man.
Yeah, yeah, man. Even the Al Horford game 1 or 2. I forgot what
Mm-hmm.
game that was. I think it was like with game 5, I believe. I think that was game 5. But
Series was
yeah,
fucking crazy fighting
yeah,
watching.
man. So yeah, they gave us problems back in the day. But yeah, I think, like I
It
said,
was fun.
Alex R, he's playing very, very well right now. I mean, he's a force down in the paint, on the defensive side, block shots and very athletic, a lob threat. He can shoot the three. And Trey Johnson, I know that he's been kind of struggling this year, but he's been able to learn and just learn the physicality of this league. So I think once he's able to, once his body starts to mature more, then I think he'll be able to be more effective scorer, like he was when he was with Texas. So yeah, there's a lot to look forward to. So they are a very young team. I know Wizards fans are staying patient, but I'm pretty sure that they're enjoying the whole process because there's just so many young guys that are fun to watch. So I just can't wait to see how Trae's going to blend in with this team. I know he's going to, like I said, be a leader, and I know he's going to have a lot of assists, and they're going to make these guys better. So that's going to be exciting for Trae and the rest of the team. So we'll see how everything unfolds for them.
I agree, man. Like, and it's just crazy. It's the end of an era. Most definitely. And like I said, he's gonna be the leader of the team. Like how he definitely wanted to remain that.
I'm still going
And
to wear my Trae on jersey too. I'm
of
not going to burn
course,
it.
that's gonna be one of the
Never.
craziest. It's gonna be weird seeing people like wear it, but that number one, that JJ, that shit's about to fly off the shelves. I
Yeah,
saw it.
that's going to sell
Burning the
out
jersey
real
that
quick.
you burning the jersey that you have spent your hard earned money for is the dumbest shit I've ever seen.
Hey,
I agree.
I'm not. I'm not.
Especially
I'm not.
like,
I'm not one of those. At the end of the day. But I mean, just going back to
mhm.
to LeBron going to Miami. I mean, everybody was burning their jersey that day. It's just wild, man.
And I love how you
That day
brought
was
that up.
crazy.
I love how you brought
Yeah,
that up because, like, man, LeBron was fucking from Cleveland, man. He was from Ohio, man. From Akron, of course, bro. Like, he was from Ohio. Like, I can only imagine. And he came out, he was 18 years old. They saw him become a fucking man.
But
They,
this is what you get. I get where you're going with that, Antoine. I didn't mean to cut you off, but
very fun.
this is also what you get when people feel like you're a piece of property
Yeah.
and that you're
Mm.
supposed to stay in one spot. I get it. Yes, you would love for your favorite player to stay in one spot. That's
He
just like,
came back. He won them a championship. Like,
well,
for real,
yeah,
though.
Yeah,
all
but
is
they
so-called
wanted
forgiven.
him. They wanted him to stay the course. They
Yeah,
wanted him to like
all is
actually figure it
forgiven
out.
when you do something like that. But
Yeah, yeah.
from that time frame that he left to the time frame that he came back,
Back.
motherfuckers was legit pissed off as if he came in their house and slapped their mama or something. Like, and
Yeah.
I've
Because I
never
mean, they went into like a complete drought after they
I
left.
I
Even though they
know,
had Kyrie and Dion, Waiters and
No,
Tristan Thompson. I
but
mean, they were one of the worst teams.
they not him.
Yeah.
They not him.
Yes, of
They not,
course. So
and I know I've talked a good piece without being on camera. I was trying to keep it as short as possible, but
you're fine, man. No,
um,
please, this is your show too, baby.
I think like you said, I get where you was going with Garrett. Like I said, I just think it's just the dumbest shit to see people who have paid. You've already paid your fucking money. What are you doing? Like,
Right.
you just lost out on whatever amount of money that you spent on this fucking jersey.
You
Like,
could at least sell the
yeah,
jersey. You could sell the
right.
jersey,
And you choose to because most of this shit is for theatrics, but then a lot of people like really. So I want to slow down. Of course, we know that fan is short for fanatic.
Fanatic.
With that being said, like I said earlier, people really like have this notion that you're supposed to stay in this one spot, and it doesn't work like that. Like the NBA is a business, the NFL is a business, MLB, NHL, all this shit is a business, WNBA, business. So the business, like for the NBA, on the NBA side, the players have a lot more say. Well, your star players. I mean, we'll say players. I'm gonna throw that out in general, just because players. There's a lot of players, some good, some not so good, who have been able to dictate where they go. And that has come over time. So when LeBron did his move to Miami, I being a Garnett fan, especially in watching him go from Minnesota to Boston, when it came to LeBron, I said, yo, the writing been on the wall. The writing was on the wall a long time ago. You just had the fans did not see the sign. The Cavs fans did not see the signs. And they were so invested in the fact that, well, we have LeBron. He's not going anywhere. And not knowing what's going on the inside, LeBron was pretty much, I mean, essentially we can say that LeBron was sick of Dan Gilbert's shit and not putting the team around him. So he's like, yo, I'm about to go somewhere where I can fucking win.
I did have hope at one point, but I feel like he was right there. But I understand this is one of those things where you're just like, man, I can't take this no more. Let me get up out of here. But
but to bring it back to what we were talking about, like for people to be so fucking invested, right, so vested in this shit, and they have like this tight grip on what they think should happen or what they want to happen, and then it goes in a different direction, and now you get upset, you get angry, and oh well, fuck this. I got this motherfucker's jersey. Fuck this motherfucker. I'm about to burn this jersey up.
Well, you just burned $500. Go right ahead.
I've been saying, because you have motherfuckers who have multiple jerseys. And I'm like, these jerseys are not cheap.
At all. A real one? Fuck.
Yeah, jerseys.
Yeah, real one. Yeah, real one. Yeah, you can't.
A real one.
A real one.
A fucking replica ain't cheap.
Yeah, that is true. But the real ones, I mean, that's like a classic. So that's just something
fucking Mitchell and Ness and shit like that. Like,
you can't do that, man.
Jerseys ain't cheap, regardless if you buy the fucking authentic jersey, a replica jersey, whatever fucking jersey that they sell, wherever you get it from. These jerseys ain't cheap unless you like me and go find the shit on eBay for like $35. But I know it's not
fake. I
know my shit it's not necessarily fake, but it ain't like from your major corporations. It's for me, it's the it has a stitch type feel, so I know it's not gonna necessarily look like a replica. There we go. So like I said, I just wanted to speak my piece on that. I always think it's funny when I hate it, but I always think it's funny when people do it. It's like, why are you burning your jersey for this person that does not know you and you don't know them? You're just a fan of this. You're a fan. You're a fan. You have to remember that you are a fan of this said player. Relax. It's okay. This is part of the business. If you get that, if people would get that part in their head, it would be so much better. I have a shit ton of jerseys in my closet. Half of these motherfuckers I ain't even a fan of. I just got them. Why? Well, most of them were free. So there's that. But the ones that I actually bought, it's because I'm a fan of said player, or I just think the fucking jersey. I have a fucking Jamal Murray jersey. I I like Jamal Murray, but the Denver jersey is dope. Like that Denver skyline is dope to me. So
okay. I know you're talking about. Yeah.
so I
The
bought it.
Mile High jersey.
I have an Anthony Edwards jersey. I am a fan of Anthony. I love Anthony Edwards' game. I bought the jersey. If this motherfucker leads fucking Minnesota, I'm not gonna be upset.
Come back home, Ant-Man. Come back home.
Look at you. Look, you
Come back home. Come back home.
Yo, you never know, man.
Look, Ant-Man, JJ, and an Anthony Davis. Oh, let me be quiet. Let me be
Or
quiet.
Darren Peterson or
quiet.
Devanza.
Let me just be quiet.
I wouldn't go for the Anthony Davis unless it's gonna be on like a 2-year deal type deal. Like,
hey, look, if you trying to win now, hey, I would do it. I would do it.
For a 2-year deal, I would take the gamble. But with what he's looking for, like down the line, I'm not willing to take that risk.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see how much he's asking for. So
because of his track record on the court. It's not because we know what the motherfucker can do. Like when he's on the court and he's able to stay on the court, we've seen what he can do.
We know.
That's the
he's a top 75 plays a top 75er already.
I mean, he's literally
on the list.
That's different. That's kind of a different kind of conversation because some people say he's not a top 75 player, but
you about to get me started. At that time, he was not a top 75 because there was a person on this
regardless, that doesn't really help the case.
No, I'm just saying.
I was still saying that to Antoine, like, even though he's a top 75 player, he's still injury prone. You still got his other stuff going on. So,
75 list is subjective because there was a person on that team with Anthony Davis who
there were multiple people that should be on there.
On that list well before him and had accomplished
way
more
than him. Yeah. I do agree.
I do agree.
Like
Dwight Howard.
Exactly. That's my first one. That's my first choice.
So
he should have been on there before Damian Lillard. That's just me.
Yes. Damian Lillard, James, all of them. He should have been on there, but I digress.
Yeah.
Back to the original topic of if I'm going to invest money in Anthony Davis, it's going to be on a short-term contract because I need to make sure that you are going to be able to play these games that I need you to play. And again, that's nothing with your skill because we know what you could do on the court. Mm-hmm. It's just you being on the court.
Reliability.
The best ability is availability. And if you're not available, you can't do nothing for me for my team. That is it.
Yeah, I don't want to trade for that nigga in the slightest. You feel me?
But again, if the Hawks can do it on a short, if the Hawks put something together and they can get this motherfucker on just a short term.
Like a 2-year, $90 million deal.
If they believe that they can get something done with this team and add Anthony Davis without having to pay this motherfucker a max contract, I would take the risk. But again, to be honest, I would wait till next season. This motherfucker's already hurt again.
Turns 33 in March.
I mean, my thing is this right here.
And he's played a lot.
When it comes, because my thing is this, is that when it comes to the Mavericks, they're obviously Luka is gone, so they're focusing on building around Cooper Flag. But now it's where they're trying to get off of long-term money. So it's only Atlanta and Toronto that has interest in them, but Toronto, they don't have that kind of flexibility they can offer to the Mavericks in terms of cap relief and assets and stuff. So it's just like if we do trade them, then I think we would trade them if we are able to come to an agreement that makes sense. I don't know what kind of extension he's looking for or how much it would be. I know it's a max extension, but I don't know the exact number. But
I'm gonna say I don't know the numbers, but it's just the fact like when you hear max extension, you know it's going to be at least 4 to 5 years.
Something like, yeah.
And you have to, as an organization, you have to think about, okay, what do we want out of these 4 to 5 years?
Yeah. And that's why I say, even though he's seeking the max, but we've seen it multiple times where you can meet somewhere in the middle.
If you can meet in the middle, if you can find something in the middle,
then it would work out.
I possibly take the chance, but it's so tough because again, he's actually played quite a bit of basketball.
This season.
What year are we in with him? What like?
This is he came
13?
in 2012.
Yeah, it's like 12, 13.
Yeah, 13, 14.
So we're at that point where
he's got a lot of mileage.
He's got a lot of mileage. Want to take this chance on somebody who has a lot of mileage, has been having a hard time staying on the floor. That's why I say you're going to this motherfucker. If we can get this motherfucker on the floor, he's going to produce. Let's not act like he's not going to produce.
That's why I'm just like, if you're going to give him the money, then I'm assuming you're going to continue to add more. So that's what I'm betting on. So it's going to take more than just him, but I mean it's a start. So we'll see how it goes. So we're only a few weeks out before a trade deadline. So I know, I think it'll happen before the trade deadline. To be honest with you, but
it should. That's
what I'm betting on.
Yeah, I was gonna say if you're going to do it, do it before the trade deadline. You got time to figure out the details, figure out whether it's personnel, whether it's draft picks, whatever.
Yeah.
I just hope that Atlanta's not dumb enough to do the thing that we pray that they don't do.
Give him like a 5-year deal.
Well, no. I'm talking about with the
I don't think anything like that.
I'm talking about draft picks.
Absolutely not.
No, I think the field right now is the field right now is one draft pick. So it's nothing gonna be like 2, 3. Look, the Pelicans play that's all limits. So
fucking limits.
Hold on. Speaking of picks, I know we're well past now. I don't care. Look, Happy New Year, y'all. We back.
Yes, sir.
I'm shocked with this trade, with this current trade, that y'all didn't get any draft picks. Now that was a shocker for me because ain't no goddamn way in hell that I make this damn trade and I don't get one draft pick to help solidify some more shit for me down the road.
Well, two things. One, what was it? Yeah, it was yesterday. So Mark Stein, senior NBA insider, he was basically giving out information that it actually seemed at first that with Trae making the money that he is, being on a expiring contract, it seemed at first that we had to attach a first round pick for him. That was the initial thought, but after the trade, was announced, technically, no draft picks were exchanged for either team. But I did see a report that they did offer a first round pick, but we took Corey Kispert instead. So I'm thinking that Corey is going to stay long term and take Luke Kennard's place because he's on an expiring deal. So I'm assuming that he's going to be part of the Anthony Davis trade because you have to match the salary. So I'm thinking that's the whole means and purpose of that, though. But I could be wrong. So that's just my theory.
I would try to finagle something. I don't give a damn.
Yeah, hey.
Set me up for the future.
Yeah, but we're in good shape with draft picks. So I think that 2026 pick, I think that helped me feel a lot better because, like I said, trading for DeJounte, it still annoys me to this day. But like I said, we're still in good shape.
Yeah. Shout out to Joe Dumars. You feel me? That's all I can really say.
Thank you, Joe.
And it's getting to a point, like I said, and I really want to end on this too. The Hawks, we're gonna be good, man. We have one of the youngest teams in the NBA. Our star player right now, he's having a breakout year. He's currently 8th in All-Star voting right now. Currently, so it was 500,000 something about 4 or 5 days ago. So now it's definitely probably around like 800,000, something like that. So JJ will indeed be an all-star out in Los Angeles this year. So it's a lot of symbolism that took place with the Atlanta Hawks this year, from losing their franchise player who they had for years to their new one who's been on the team. He's officially arrived as an all-star this year, leading a franchise at 24. And then, you fast forward into the summertime, we have that draft pick as well. And I think it's really I feel like that really can't be underestimated, man. Because I keep talking about it. I'm checking the mock drafts like every fucking day and stuff like that. I just gotta let time pass. I gotta let the time pass. We saw the Detroit Pistons. They were like 14-68, and then got the 5th pick. Now that turned into Ron Holland, so I doubt they're regretting that. But like I said, the reason the Hawks are safe in this draft, though, regardless of that circumstance, is like how Garrett said, it's not only the Pelicans, but it's the Bucks pick too. And like I said, that top 4, that top 5, really, of that 2026 NBA draft, fucking bulletproof. Even if it hits the 5th pick and we somehow, off some bullshit, get that pick, I'll take Mikael Brown Jr. out of Louisville all day. He's a fucking phenomenal point guard at 6'5". He was down here at Overtime Elite. He's incredible. And even then, like I said, I do think it's going to be at least 1 through 3. And if it hits the 4th, that's Caleb Wilson without a doubt. And if we get that top 3, man, yo, I'm telling you, like, I'll be happy for JJ. It would just be super. It would be super ironic, like how JJ like JJ lost his co-star. Like Trae came in, had his co-star. Trae got traded, didn't get to play with his co-star. Jalen's here now. He's the star. Now Jalen gets a new co-star coming in this summer. Of course, that's going to be a fucking 18-year-old, whatever. But for those of y'all who have been watching, all 3 of those players are really, really good. I've been watching all of them niggas every time I get the chance to. They all play late night because they're all on primetime spots.
What the hell?
So
yo, the sign is real simple, B. It says back it up.
Most definitely. And I just think people got to realize, like, the Hawks fans, at least y'all realize how lucky y'all are, to lose Trae Young like that. But you still have this Pelicans pick. So you're literally about to start a new era +1. So it's a great show. Shout out to Trae Young. Most definitely. Y'all, please don't forget to scan our QR code in the top upper left-hand corner. It takes you to all of our links. You can support the show. Most definitely. It's not even all-star break yet. So this season has been pretty eventful. Regardless, whatever you want to say. It's not like last year with the Luka AD shit. But this was definitely pretty fucking crazy. I'm not gonna lie. Seeing Trae get traded like that, especially watching the game. And like he was there at the game, there's not many jobs where like the whole world is aware of your job and like these things, these $1 million moves, and like for real, like it's a crazy fucking job, man. It's a crazy job. If you're in the NBA, you are liable to play for any of those 30 teams. It does not fucking matter. So yeah, man. Like I'm pretty sure the Mavericks fans never ever thought Luka was ever gonna leave Dallas, yo. 100% that was a thing. And now look, they got Cooper Flag, so hopefully the Hawks get blessed a little bit, like how they were last summer, this summer. But thank y'all for joining us, most definitely. And that's it for me, Garrett. Unless you got something else you want to say.
Yeah, of course. Thank you all for sharing, subscribing, and commenting to our channel. We always appreciate your love, your time, and your support. So continue to chime in with us, hang out with us. And of course, if you're joining us through YouTube Live, be sure to comment and say what's up to, come in and say hello. So yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. And of course, we're going to continue to do this. So we see you guys next week. And again, Happy New Year to everybody.
One band, one sound. They give me my theme music.